Hello, and welcome to another episode of Blue Blooded, your favorite college basketball podcast. I am your host, Ryan Hammer, per usual. I am on my own today for this first piece. That's because, well, I'll save that. I'll get into that in a second. We didn't have an episode last week. That's because I was out on the West Coast traveling, getting some of the goods, getting some good content for y'all that you're going to see on today's episode. The big stuff, I was out at the University of San Francisco with head coach Chris Gerlufsen of the Dons, heading into his fourth year with the program out in the WCC, live from the campus, from their brand new, beautiful practice facility that they invested $40 million into about a year and a half ago. But it's going to be a great episode. You're going to love that piece. We talk a lot about his taking after Todd Golden after Golden left for Florida, how Todd Golden's success has kind of impacted the University of San Francisco's program. We talk about the WCC as a conference, the current outlook of it, how he's trying to break into the NCAA Tournament with the Dons, the future outlook of the conference with Gonzaga leaving and taking, obviously, Wazoo and Oregon State out also to the Pac-12, and really just a bunch of stuff. He's a great guy. He's a great coach, great person, so I very highly recommend to listen to every ounce of that, not just to get you to listen to the whole thing, but genuinely, Coach Gerlufsen is awesome, and I think they're up to something big with the Dons this year. I mentioned I was alone today. I do want to get to that. Big brother Adam was... by the way, we're giving him a new title. He's going to be the GM of the podcast because producer, he doesn't do enough technical producing, in my opinion, to be an actual producer. He helps on camera, off camera with a bunch of random shit. So we're going to call him the GM, kind of like college basketball programs have been adopting. So we are adopting our GM of our own. But Adam is not here. He was scheduled to be here. And about an hour ago, he became a healthy scratch. And it wasn't because we were at the Jets game today. I think it was because I beat him in fantasy football. I beat him in our Dynasty League by .66. And I am a rebuilding team, and he is a contending team. And I was with him all day, which doesn't help. I played 4 tight ends in my team today. 4 tight ends in my roster, even though it's a tight end premium. But my team is very bad. I beat him by .66 off of like a Brock Purdy game-winning touchdown that they had on that last drive for the Niners. But listen, I'm not going to say he backed out just because of that. But the math is math and way too much on that. So when Adam listens to this, I am calling you out, Adam, and that's kind of, it is what it is. You know, you lose to a tanking team. Maybe the tides have turned, but nonetheless, I digress. I got the win. I'm happy. Let's move on with the episode. Let's get into some news and notes around the nation. News and notes. We got to start with the college basketball video game because I was in a absolute storm of emotions this week. EA has fully backed out as of this past week of making a college basketball video game. Their plan was to do it like they did for football, which was awesome and I think is so well done and in depth and really deep with every single kind of game mode and the rosters and programs and the creativity and the details. They were going to do the same thing for basketball, but they wanted two things. They were going to have every single school in the country, but they wanted every single school to have exclusivity with them and not even consider going to a 2K or another company. When they announced that, everyone got excited, but then 2K, being egotistical, said, we make basketball games. You can't touch our basketball games. So they started poaching only some of the really big schools, and we don't know exactly who, but the big brand schools, probably with better offers and more money, to get them to buy into their game. And their intention was never to make a standalone game. They were going to make one with 20 or 30 schools and just like an add-on in NBA 2K, which no one wants. Now, because that happened, EA doesn't get the exclusivity they want. They have completely folded and backed out. So now we're kind of screwed because now we're in 2K's world and they have full control of everything. They have said that it's going to come 2026 next year, and next year's game, it's going to be an in-game add-on to NBA 2K and probably going to be forever after that. And they said they're going to have 100+ schools. I'll believe it when I see it, but even 100 isn't enough. It is more than I expected. I still expect them only to do like 50 to 75. But like college basketball is college basketball for a reason. Like the college football game was done so well because they have every single school in the country, in FBS at least. So like it's easier for that because there's only 100, 130 schools. College basketball is the best because of the Cinderella stories, because of all the mid-majors. Like the mid-majors and smaller schools make up the majority of schools in college basketball. So excluding so many of them, and really majority, almost all of them, is a huge miss to me. And also dumping the game into NBA 2K is an even bigger miss, because the NBA community and the NBA community and college basketball communities, especially on the gaming level, are so different that I think 2K has kind of lost sight of that and lost track of that, or they just never really knew that. There's still time. We'll see where the game goes. I am annoyed, I'm sad, I'm angry, all these things. I am going to try to hit up 2K. I do want to work with them in some capacity, even if it's like volunteer basis, just to make the game the best thing possible, because like I want to play it no matter what. But at the same time, like I don't want to buy NBA 2K if they're going to give me some really garbage add-on DLC thing for college that doesn't even do anything, and it forces me playing like Ultimate Team and stupid shit like that. So I do want to try to work with them because I want everyone to enjoy it, because if this is the only thing we're going to get and we're not going to get an EA game ever, I want to make this the best thing we can possible. So again, there's not much we can do. I am going to try to be our savior and talk to 2K, but that is what's going on with that. The other thing I definitely want to get into is also relevant to college football. This past weekend in college football, a lot of matchups seem to be the regional matchups, like we see in college football, where teams that are local rivals, will say, and they're out of conference games, we're facing up against each other, which I love. And we see sometimes in college basketball, but it seemed to be specifically this weekend that the regional matchups were heavily indexed and scheduled, which I loved. And I almost thought of it like maybe college football and college basketball should have like one day or one weekend that every single team in the country is playing a regional non-conference rivalry matchup of some sort, or at least a lot of them, right? Like right now in college basketball, Iowa State plays Iowa all the time. Kentucky plays Louisville. Cincy plays Xavier in the Crosstown Shootout. Creighton and Nebraska. Philly does the Big Five with all their schools playing in a mini tournament. Wisconsin plays Marquette. I love that Syracuse and Georgetown play. It's like an old school Big East rivalry that they've kind of revived a little bit in the out of conference slate. And I think that's great for both of those brands as they try to continue to improve. So that being said, what matchups would I add? Got me really thinking about like, what games would I want to see the most to be added on if college basketball had a regional rivalry specific day or weekend in the course of the season? I thought about it a lot. Some kind of old ACC game with Maryland and I think Duke, maybe Carolina, but Maryland and Duke have really like avoided scheduling each other. Some people said it was Turgeon and then Coach K, and then some people said it was Willard and then Shire, and now, like they haven't played each other at all. And that needs to be a thing for the sport, in my opinion, and I think it's a great thing. So Maryland and Duke for sure. I love that Iowa State and Iowa play, but I think the state of Iowa doing what Philly does with the Big Five, but doing it with Drake and UNI on top of Iowa State and Iowa, I think would be awesome. I think the 4 schools in Nashville should do the same exact thing and throw down, because people don't even know that there are 4 D1 schools in Nashville. SLU and Missouri, St. Louis and Missouri haven't played since 2001. How does that make sense? Like, the big brother, little brother type of matchups, I think, are huge for teams to do and to build more rivalry in the sport, especially in the month of November and December. So SLU, Missouri would be awesome. Wichita State and Kansas, very similarly. And then even someone on the West Coast like a UCLA and USC play like the 2 best UC schools like UC Irvine and Santa Barbara or San Diego or something like that, I think would be awesome. I don't think it's possible because there's so many teams in the country and a lot of the regional rivalries are already built up within conferences, but I think there's a way to do it, especially with a majority of like 50 prime matchups across college basketball of regional rivalries this week or this weekend. I think would be really awesome for the sport. But again, I can't control everybody's scheduling, so that kind of is what it is. Let's take a tiny break, and then before we get into the good stuff with Coach Chris Gerlufsen out in San Francisco, we're going to do this week's Home Court Advantage presented by Home Field, and then we'll get into the good stuff. This week's Home Court Advantage presented by Home Field brings us to the lovely world of FCS Division I college football. We go out down south to UT Rio Grande Valley, the home of the Vaqueros, who debuted their college football program for the first time ever in the past 2 weeks and on the Division I level from the jump. 2 weeks ago, they won 66-0, and then this past weekend, they beat fellow D1 team Prairie View A&M 27-21. So it's obviously great to start a new season or maybe a new season in Division I for the first time, 2-0, but they started as a program for the first time ever, 2-0, and this would not be possible without the students and without the fans and the community behind them, and really the home court or home field advantage that we love talking about on this segment, obviously. 4 years ago, back in 2021, the students pressured the school in a way to build a football program. So the school said, you know what, let's put it to a vote and see if the students and fans actually want that. They obviously had a very astounding, emphatically strong majority in support of building the program. So the school honored their word. They built a program from scratch for the Division I level. They built an environment, engagement, an audience, a community, facilities, and they ended up building a recruiting class. And obviously it worked out if you're 2-0 and you start off winning 66-0. But not only that, in their first game last weekend, they sold out their crowd immediately. 12,000 people packed to the brim. They had tailgates going all day long. They have marching bands, and they had swimming and diving teams that they added with the football program. So it wouldn't be possible without the students kind of pressuring the school and getting it across the line. And it wouldn't be possible without the fans in the community for showing how much worth there is in that and building that to put them on some kind of national scale of credibility. So shout out to the UT Rio Grande Valley Vaqueros, and shout out to the students and shout out to the fans, because it is absolutely awesome what they're doing down there. That was the home court advantage presented by Home Field. Now on to the best part of the episode, my man Coach Chris Gerlufsen out in San Francisco. Really good segment here. Hope you guys enjoy it. I got Coach Chris Gerlufsen on the pod now. We're here at San Francisco. Normally I'd say, like, thanks for coming out or thanks for coming on, but I'm in your home now. So thanks for having me here, even though you're on the show.
We have to welcome you. Great to have you in the Bay. Congrats on, the new ventures and what you're doing, and hopefully we can play a part in helping to elevate your platform.
This is the first, the first thing I've done as a full-time basketball analyst or whatever you want to call me.
It's amazing. We'll take it easy on you.
For sure. So obviously here at U of SF, by the way, right? Or USF?
USF.
Okay. There's a lot of USFs around, but that's fair. I didn't know I heard both things. So.
Well, I think we're constantly in that battle with the other USF, and
good thing that they're.
But yeah, we refer to ourselves as USF and represent that
I love
proudly.
It.
Yeah.
So you obviously haven't been here forever. You've been through the ringer on all levels of college basketball, playing where you're from, Philly and stuff. Take people at least that don't know a brief history of your path.
Man, we could be here for a while, but no, I've had just a unbelievable, blessed journey in terms of where this game has taken me. Have experienced every level of basketball, have done every job known to man within this space, and it's just been, I think, leading to me getting to this point, becoming a head coach. And I wouldn't change my trajectory or the places that I've worked, the people I've been around for anything. I think it's really prepared me to kind of be in the moment now, but have worked on both coasts, have coached at the lowest of low major and at the best of the mid-major level, and played Division III.
D3, baby.
I'm a D3
Come on
guy.
Come on now. We love that.
Randolph-Macon, one of the best D3 programs in the country.
Virginia, right?
Yeah.
Make sure Virginia. I know what's going on. Yeah.
Yep. And we have a great little basketball kind of community of coaches that have come out of there. And I'm just really fortunate to be in the position that I am at a great institution that really values winning.
For sure. Big thing about your path that you mentioned, I love that too. Like, you're like, I have done every job possible, and like that. I don't think people understand that, especially in the college basketball world. I get so many people like DM me, kids asking if I can do this, if I can do that. I'm like, you gotta go do bitch work. Like, you have to do it in some capacity, whether you're doing like you're a GA somewhere for years, you're rebounding, you're a water boy, like trying to find your way in. So like, I need you to give one message to the young kids out there, the younger people who are like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but they don't know what it actually takes to get there.
Yeah, I certainly didn't choose to do this for the paycheck. My first job, I think I made maybe $1,500, and I had to work in a liquor store at night and had credit card bills through the roof. But I didn't care. I just want to be around the game. And never really worried about any of that stuff. Just figured if you did the right thing and worked hard, that eventually you'd be rewarded in some capacity. But yeah, like, this is what I love to do. So it's not coming to a job every day. I get to work, or I get to walk a block to work every day.
That's
and nice. This is my sanctuary and my happy place.
Yeah, so. And people just don't realize that. They want the end product, but they don't want to put in the work and whatever. But I commend you for doing that. And we thought, you didn't mention where you've been, but like, you're from Philly, you played in Virginia, you coached at Hartford, you coached in San Diego, which is nice, and Hawaii, even during the pandemic, which has its positives, obviously, and even still West Coast here at San Francisco. So you've been all around. Obviously, USF San Francisco here. You were the second in command basically to Todd Golden for a little while here, and now it's crazy. I know you guys are probably still tight. He goes and wins a national championship. Like, he spent 3 years here as a head coach. You guys went to one tournament game. He didn't win a single tournament game, and all of a sudden 3 years later he's lifting a national championship trophy. So like, first of all, your relationship with him, like, what has it meant to you, and also like learning from him also?
Yeah, the first thing I would say is, we still talk multiple times a week, and he's somebody within this space that I can bounce any and everything off of. And he looks at the game in a very analytical way.
We love that.
Runs a program like he's a general manager in the NBA, and really delegates and gives his staff the freedom and the opportunity to really develop. But having the chance to come and work for him for just a very short season, I thought I was analytically driven before I got here, and I quickly realized that I did not know anything about analytics, and just some of the things that I was able to get exposed to, in that season working under him is stuff that we continue to do. And we've tried to put our own spin on analytic approach, and it's something that we use in really every facet of our program. But can't say enough for just what Todd did in terms of putting me in a position to have the opportunity to be the next head coach here. And if the Dons were not going to win a national championship, there's not another team that that I would have wanted for that to happen. We celebrated like we won a national championship.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because he's kind of like, there's got to be a bit of pride for the school and the staff and the program of like, that's still our guy in a way, because obviously you understand there's levels to things, and like seeing someone succeed, and there's probably some kind of residual effect, I imagine. Like, maybe if it's subconsciously in players when they're getting recruited or whatever it is, people understand, like, the national championship coach, he came from the school.
Yeah, there's a great tree of coaches that have come from here.
Yeah.
And Kyle Smith did it before Todd, and he had a great run, and he's gone on to be successful at Washington State and Stanford, and has always represented this place in a high regard, and Todd continued in that, and hopefully myself and our staff, we can continue to elevate the program and be seen in a light of the mid-major program that always wins.
Yeah, and to the standards, enough of Todd. He gets enough limelight out there, right? And I know he's going to watch this, and he's going to watch it back and say something.
I know he's locked in.
Yeah, exactly. He knows what's up. But in terms of goals for you guys this year, let's move on to this year. 3 20-win seasons in a row. You guys have won more games every single year. I think you're up to 25 wins last year. If I'm not mistaken, you're the first coach. You have the most wins in your first 3 seasons in WCC history since Mark Few did it back in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, you guys haven't been in the NCAA tournament since that one game that we talked about, that crazy game against Murray State with Tevin Brown and whatever, when you guys had Jamari Bouye in the first round. But I see the analytical drive. I see the improvement. So, like, what is the ultimate goal for you guys this year?
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm so happy about since becoming the head coach here is I feel like we built a really solid foundation in year one, and each year progressively we've gotten better. And so we went from 20 to 23 to 25 in year 3. Year 2, we got to the NIT and lost a heartbreaker at Cincinnati. Fast forward a year, we win our first NIT game since 2006. So we've progressively been kind of climbing the ladder, and we don't shy away from what the next goal is for our program, and that's to be a program where our name's called on Selection Sunday, and we have the chance to get back to what we did a few years ago.
I'm going to pull up your guys' schedule. Unless you remember it by heart, your non-con. I'll give you the chance to spell it out because it's crazy, especially for a WCC school.
Yeah, I can probably take you through most of it.
Go ahead.
If I miss anybody, you can jump in. Second game of the year, I know we're at Memphis.
Which is already like, okay, here we go, start of the year.
I think before we even get in, I think on paper we have the potential for 15 top 100 games on our schedule, which we're super excited about, and we need that opportunity. And
you need those, like you need quad one at Memphis is a Q1, obviously. Like you need those games because like you guys want to get to the tournament. It's pretty clear. I think with this schedule, you want to get to the tournament, and it's hard for WCC schools because even though you guys can be great and like, well, it's tough. It's the same thing for the A10 and a lot of the Mountain West schools and whatever. Gonzaga and St. Mary's have been doing it, but you have to be damn near perfect at a conference unless you're playing a loaded schedule. Is that like the reason why you're playing all those teams?
Not to get completely off subject, but in the last 2 or 3 years, there has not been a mid-major program that has been called on Selection Sunday as an at-large that hasn't had at least 13 quad 1 or quad 2 games. So in the scheduling, we've tried to hit that threshold, not only hit that threshold, but go above and beyond the 13. And it's a hard thing to do. Mid-majors are getting squeezed.
Listen, you could preach this all day long. I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, so we just want to make sure we're doing everything in our power to give ourselves the best fighting chance. And so, playing neutral games at the Pentagon against Minnesota, playing in neutral, which doesn't really feel like a neutral game, in Tupelo, Mississippi against Mississippi State.
That's not, that's an away game. It'll get treated, I think, analytically like a semi-away, which is still BS, but whatever.
But we're excited.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Having to go on the road at St. Louis, who I think will be
great team,
one of the top 2 teams in the A10 heading into this year. I have a lot of respect for their staff and Coach Schertz. Have Loyola Chicago coming here to the Chase Center. Let me see who else. Oh, our MTE. We have open up with Colorado.
Yep.
And then we either have Washington or Nevada on day 2. 2 really good opportunities for us. Have Bradley coming here.
That's the only one I was going to add, but it's a crazy schedule. If Bradley was a damn near close to the tournament team last year, you got multiple power teams. I think Washington's going to be good this year. The St. Louis game, I love that you highlighted that because I feel like y'all are in a very similar position to them and vice versa, whatever, because Schertz is new. They brought a lot of the Indiana State system that works, but it takes time to adjust to a really good league. That'll be a really good test, and I feel like those tests at Memphis is tough. Obviously, going in there to start the year is great because you're going to get a real good barometer for a litmus test.
For sure.
Okay, we're here, we're ready to rock, basically, right?
Likewise, I mean, we have we don't have a lot of room to settle in to the season. And I believe we're Memphis's first regular season game. I think they don't play in the lead up to our games, so we'll be their opener. They open up on the 8th, I think, at home. So, but we want all that smoke, and we want the challenges, and that's the only way we can elevate. And again, we want to be seen. I think the hardest thing being a mid-major, especially on the West Coast, is sometimes we're a little bit forgotten. A
little bit is an understatement. It's crazy. Because people, don't stay up late to watch games, especially if it's not there is no Pac-12, so that's irrelevant. But if it's not, I guess, Big Ten game at this point, we'll call it, UCLA, whatever. No shot at UCLA, but they I get that, and people kind of forget about it. And if it's not, honestly, that if it's not Gonzaga playing, or maybe even St. Mary's, but really if it's not Gonzaga, most people, the national audience, don't tune in enough to WCC games, and the quality is there. The teams have been in the tournament.
For sure, and that's why I'm excited to get outside of the time zone that we're in. We're traveling and we're playing in different TV markets, and hopefully some of the decision makers and people who have the opportunity to decide who plays in March, hopefully they see us playing some of these games and like the product.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say about the schedule is I commend y'all for doing this schedule, because probably at least half of the power teams in the country have a schedule far worse than this. Like, we won't call any with you on here, but I've done it on the show before of like certain teams, they just try to manipulate the analytics of KenPom and net, where they just go beat up teams in the 300s by 40. I'm like, that does nothing for you. Like, it really doesn't do anything. And I don't think power teams, the few that I'm thinking of at least, haven't turned on that. So I commend you for that. And not only does this put you in a good position to execute at a high level and you'll get in the tournament, but like if you get there, or even in the WCC tournament, like this builds you for postseason play.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think this is how we hopefully chase to becoming, as best or as good of a team as we can become.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of room for error in the schedule,
That's
but
okay.
again, we don't have to be perfect in these top 100 games.
Right.
We have to perform well. We have to win some of these games, but it's not like we have to head into the WCC and have to knock off Gonzaga or St. Mary's both times to be considered if we handle our business in the non-conference. So.
And that's house money, exactly.
Sure.
Speaking of the team this year, it looks on paper like you guys could have a legit big bounce back and like have that tournament quality team. We'll start with Tyrone. Tyrone Riley, obviously. His dad played here. We were talking about it earlier. He had a good freshman year. He's getting a ton of buzz that we were talking about also going into the sophomore.
Yeah.
He entered the portal originally.
He did.
And then he decided to come back. So first off, how in the world do you get him back?
So he's playing with in our staff's emotions a little bit with that. But actually, and it's part of the landscape we're living in is we're not strong-arming or trying to discourage kids from seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
This is the times that we're living in, and they have put themselves in a position to take advantage of being able to monetize themselves. And so Tyrone dipped his foot in the pool and saw what was out there. And the best part about it was he was still in my office every day, and I had the opportunity to just relate to him on probably a different level of trying to maybe see the process through a different lens.
It wasn't a bitter thing. He's like, I got to get out of San Francisco. It was like I had a really good freshman year. There's an opportunity for me to go to a power school maybe and they might give me a lot of money. Like that's the nature of what it is right now. And we know that. But like you're saying, like he sees the vision here because there is a vision here. And you guys, like the proof is there. You guys have NBA players, guys in the NBA succeeding in the NBA at a high level. Like it's not like it was just like, trust me, I promise. There's more than that.
No, and it's twofold. Us being able to present ourselves in a way where he could see the benefit of staying here and how he'll develop here versus maybe being at the Power 5 level. And fortunate for us, we're able to operate in the NIL landscape and be competitive in that market, which if you want to be good, you have to invest in that. And, so I think he's smart enough and he comes from a great family. They weighed their options and thankfully for us, when he walked into my office and told me he was staying, that was a great day to be a Don. So we're happy he's back.
You remember that moment?
Oh, for sure. For sure. It was the only other guy that's done that to me, and Tyrone tried to duplicate what this guy did, was Khalil Shabazz did that in year one for me. And
he was crazy too.
He tried to get me to believe that he was going to go to Clemson.
Was he bullshitting you, or was he?
Yeah, no, he went in the portal.
Okay, he actually did it. That's
when he came into my office to tell me that he was staying, he went the other way and told me he was leaving to see what my reaction was. And so
that's crazy.
Shout out Khalil. Love that guy. He's obviously a great Don.
Yeah.
Tyrone tried to duplicate that. So
unintentionally.
Unintentionally.
Give him some slack. Yeah.
To get him back and to just see, even in the summer, how he's progressed. He's 15 to 20 pounds heavier, shooting the ball more efficiently. I think he's got a chance to, be one of the best, wing two-way prospects in America, hopefully.
I was about to say, I fully believe that, because those two things are probably what he needs investment in most, right? Like he needs to bulk up his size and his frame, which a lot of players do at a young age, but the shooting gets to a consistency. He's already a mean defender. He's a crazy athlete. He's flying down the floor. He's smart. He seems humble. Like everything is positive going his way as long as he puts that work in. I think a big thing before we get into the rest of the team, the NBA players that you guys have had. Jamari Bouye is obviously I guess he's the most notable one right now, but Jonathan Mobo is probably the more notable prospect. And even some other guys like that you have, like you mentioned, Khalil and Malik's obviously going to a really good team in Virginia, but you guys have been able to produce these kind of players out a little bit. And even if, like, I saw Woj, who's obviously St. Bonaventure now, he was honest about St. Bonaventure, and he's like, if this can be a stop for guys to get to where they have to go, like, that's fine. Like, we're here for that because we can all benefit. That system and that production of all that has to turn to guys that you're getting. Even, like, we will talk about Mookie Cook coming here, who was a 5-star. Like, they see that, and they're like, I can get there. I can be that next dude, right?
Yeah, I mean, having the validation of being able to sell a Jamari or sell a Jonathan Mobo, of being our first draft pick in 42 years here, and just to see the success he had in his rookie campaign with the Toronto Raptors, arguably,
he was so
statistically,
good.
He was one of the better performing rookies in the NBA last year. And the thing I love about both those guys is they're playing at the highest level in the world, and they're still always back here on campus.
I love that.
Mobo was here last week.
I saw it. I remember seeing that,
Jamari will be here tomorrow for our elite camp. And just the connection that they still feel with the program and their desire to see the program continue to elevate helps us in the recruiting game. Current players want to be able to see like what you've done for guys, and lucky for us, we've had some recent success with guys who are now playing at the NBA level.
And they have a light in too, right? Like you said, Jamari comes here and Jonathan comes here. Like, the guys can meet them and they talk to them. They get a better light of like a reality of everything too, which has to be huge, because otherwise they're just like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna go to a big program that they produce a ton of NBA picks, but like maybe they're in and out, but it's a different feel. It's so much more like family, I feel like.
Tyrone never played with Jonathan Mobo, but he has a super tight relationship with them, and those are guys that our guys can access and talk to, and I think that's how you slowly start producing multiple NBA guys, having that kind of pipeline.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like you guys in Santa Clara doing it in the same conference at the same time is not really a coincidence. I feel like you guys have both kind of figured it out a little bit in a way, where analytically and just like being that home for guys, they've had like transfer down candidates like Pajemski, Jalen Williams had his breakout there obviously, and those are the two notable dudes, but it feels like the conference is starting to catch up, because like it's Gonzaga, St. Mary's, but in terms of NBA players, it's just been Gonzaga for so long, right? So
I think, we've had NBA players from Pepperdine's produce NBA players in our league, and it's not just the top 1 or 2 teams that are now producing NBA players. If you're the best player on your team in the WCC, you're an NBA player for the most part, and or borderline
you're close,
fringe. And that just speaks to the quality of the league and the coaching and the recruiting, and I'm super blessed and fortunate to be able to compete against the teams that we get a chance to every night in this league.
For sure. You mentioned NIL money. You guys are able to dip in a little bit, which is obviously, like you said, you need it. It's a reality, and the roster definitely like preaches that. Like keeping Tyrone is obviously a huge thing. Mookie Cook, like coming out of high school, he's one of those dudes who's like going everywhere, buzzing on social media, on TikTok videos, like 5-star, All-American. Guillermo Diaz, obviously from Pitt. Like, you guys are bringing in not just power players, but like legit power players. Like, you feel like you're going to be a force to reckon with, basically.
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job, credit to our staff, of identifying players who fit, number one, how we play, and being able to really kind of hone in on guys that maybe didn't have the level of success that people thought they would have at their previous institution, and being able to forecast them and kind of predict what they're going to be able to do here. We've had, Mookie hopefully falls in the next line of guys that do that. But Malik did that. He averaged a point a game at USC, and
he was crazy last year.
So I think some of it is the opportunity that we present. Some of it is our style of play. I think we play a style of play that mimics and looks like what it looks like at the next level, at the NBA level, and hopefully that's attractive to guys when they're picking a school.
No, it's a great selling point, 100%. And I think the analytical piece that I talk about Todd so much, Todd Golden, like, what he's done at Florida is he gets guys that he doesn't just go and amass as many players and bodies like a lot of power teams do. He gets guys that are perfectly made for their program, and there are other coaches who do that, but like with the guards coming in this year, and that feels like what you're doing, and I love how you said that. So like, tell me a little bit more real fast about how important that is versus, hey man, we just got to go get the best guys we possibly can, because there is a level to that of like, we need like this guy's gone and we need to like second option or whatever that is, but getting guys that fit, even if they're not as good per se, quote unquote, as the next option.
Yeah, I think, we try to recruit to style of play and having, not necessarily amassing the most talent that you can get. Obviously, that is a great place to start. But having guys that, want to be a part of, number one, winning, and want to be a part of a culture and a program that has won at a high level. But having selfless guys and guys who can dribble, pass, and shoot. I can't say that enough. That's if you want to make a lot of money playing this game, that's a great place to start.
And I think like everyone's a bag chaser in a way. That's 100%, whether you're going to a school for style or money. But there are short-term bag chasers and there are long-term bag chasers, and it feels like the long-term, the smarter guys are coming here basically because they see that NBA vision, or even if it's not in the NBA, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I hope so. And, every player isn't for us, and we're not for every player, and that's okay. But that's the beauty of recruiting and really trying to build a team. And as you said, not just trying to amass talent or throw a whole bunch of talent on the floor and figure it out. That's not really how we go about building a team or building a roster. We want our culture and our foundation to be super solid. That's a credit to the guys who came before I got here and the people who are here now. I think we just have the right kind of people in our program and on our staff. Yeah,
and that long-term sustainability is so massive. We were talking about the conference before. Talk about the current look of it, at least. Gonzaga, St. Mary's, obviously everyone talks about them. I keep bringing them up. That's not me. But the whole entire conference as a whole, first of all, where do you guys see yourself contending this year? Where do you aim to be at the top? Are you aiming for top 3 or a certain piece because of how the gauntlet of the bracket comes out and stuff like that?
That's a good question. I think I tried to not think of it in those terms. Each opportunity, not to be cliche, but each opportunity is a singular opportunity for us on our schedule. And I like to, during the course of a season, stay extremely short-sighted, and focus on what's next and focus on the moment. And hopefully, if we can get a group of guys and a staff to do that, when you look back at the end, you're like, holy, you know what? We're put ourselves in a good position. I
know you don't want to cuss. It's okay on here.
Yeah, that's why I like your platform.
Holy shit, it's okay.
Being an East Coast guy that just randomly comes out time to time.
Yeah, I got you.
But no, I think, we want to finish. Obviously, we want to win a league championship.
I was about to say, you can come on. You can say that shit because you were saying it sounds like you're saying we want to win every game. We want to beat Gonzaga and St. Mary's and everyone beyond that 100%. And you can say that you want to win because you have the quality and you guys have been preparing and getting better every year. So I think it's fair.
We if you don't play or coach for that reason, I don't know why you're playing or coaching.
But some schools, there are realistic expectations and not. If you go 0-15 in the conference last year, you're not going to go 15-0 the next year, whatever that is. You guys were only 1 game behind Zags last year in WCC play, which people don't realize. I do want to ask you about the gauntlet.
Sure.
The WCC gauntlet bracket is infamous but famous in college basketball world. How are you a big fan of it, and what are the pros and cons of it from the internal side?
It's funny you bring that up. I had the WCC head coaches meeting back in May, and this particular thing always seems to be a sticking point. Whether you're at the top of the conference or one of the schools at the bottom, there's always an argument one way or the other.
Huey and Bennett are no, let's keep it how it is, guys.
I will say, there is an argument that it does reward the teams that perform the best over the course of a season. It takes away maybe some of the kind of the Cinderella
drama
type runs in the conference tournament. But I'm one guy and I don't make the decisions. So
it's a good answer.
I just tend to compete and operate with what we're given.
That's fair. But a mid-major league, the idea, other mid-major leagues have been adopting it because the idea of it puts the best team possible in theory into the NCAA tournament most of the time. So therefore, we'll get the most wins and the most funds and resources from that team succeeding in the tournament and the best representation. And we talked about it earlier. What did we say again? How does it go? The high tide, rising tide lifts all ships, whatever.
I think you're close.
I think that's I'm never gonna get it. But that's the idea of it, I think, and to put the best team in. But there's 12, 13 teams, like the 7 or 8 that are always kind of stuck killing each other in that back portion of where you have to win 6 games in 6 days, whatever it is. Like, it's unrealistic. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to say that. But again, it's not totally out of the question. Pepperdine went on a crazy run in the tournament last year, got all the way to the semifinals. And, sometimes it is about playing your best basketball at the right time of the year. Is it a little bit more challenging?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But I think it also rewards the teams that perform at the highest level over the course of a season.
And I think the people that kind of talk down on it, like the logical sense is because the WCC specifically, they look at the teams that are succeeding at the top, the Zag and St. Mary's and even you guys and Santa Clara in and out and stuff, and they look at those teams and it's always the same 4 or 5 teams and really 2 teams. So like that's why they get frustrated because they're like, but realistically, like you have to work up and like there is a way to get out of there. But I hear you. I get both sides.
There is, and I think it's a great kind of debate to be had, whether it's about our league or I think the Sun Belt, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they just adopted it.
Has one of the crazier ones in college basketball. Probably even more challenging WCC. You have to fact check me on that.
I think you're right because we call it the Fun Belt for a reason, and I'm pretty sure that was like a thing this year. But the college basketball sickos like myself, obviously I love it because like you don't find that anywhere else. It is like not even in like English soccer. You're not going to see that type of bracket. It is one of one.
I think they're like 7 games in 7 days or something if you're one of the.
If you try to win, yeah, and then it's crazy. Speaking of the future, I guess it kind of is a future outlook of the conference. Yeah. Gonzaga leaves next year. Obviously, you lose Wazoo and Oregon State also. So then it feels like it becomes like a truer mid-major league. The pros and cons of Gonzaga leaving the conference, because there are obvious ones both ways. Like, I want to hear it from you first.
Yeah, I think to be positive first, I think it gives us an opportunity to hopefully slide into a position of being a power player in this conference. Conversely, negatively, I'll be disappointed to see him go.
Yeah.
We haven't been ultra successful against Gonzaga, but the opportunity to just compete against Coach Few, the opportunity to go into the kennel and for the East Coast guys and people who haven't experienced what the environment is like.
It's crazy,
playing
right?
in the kennel. I've been all over college basketball, and I would put that right at the top in terms of what a college basketball environment is. It's the good thing about college basketball, in my opinion. And so it'll be a hit for our league in terms of losing a team that has sustained success for 20-plus seasons.
Yeah.
And all of the accolades and everything that Coach Few has done and the NBA players that they've produced, that's a notch for our league. And so just not having the opportunity to compete against them twice a year, I'll be disappointed in that.
It's fair, and there's a huge residual effect, right? Like you mentioned, even like for the guys where like more scouts will be at those games, NBA scouts, and more eyeballs, and you talk about TV markets, like great, you get national games maybe at 10 o'clock at night because it's later at night and Gonzaga's playing and you're at the kennel, so maybe that's going to be like that. It's valid. No, you're good. Cut me off.
I would add that just the leadership of our conference, Stu Jackson, who coached in the NBA, played in the NBA, understands and thinks basketball through the right lens. I think it's a great opportunity for him and the powers that be within our conference to be a little creative and see what we can do.
That's true.
To up the ante a little bit and not just be status quo just because Gonzaga is leaving.
It's a good point. And even Oregon State and Wazoo have like helped with a positive impact, especially Wazoo. I feel like over the last couple of years. So like you take 3 teams out. It's not like just Gonzaga's leaving, and it's not that simple. You guys were going to get GCU also for a little while, which would have turned this conference almost into like what the Mountain West is. Would have feel like, which would have there's so much moving all around. So it's like I like how you look at it. You have to find the positive. A little bit of a political answer, but you have to. You have to.
Sure.
No, you have to. But I get that. I get that.
Trying to, we'll cut some of this, but trying to
We'll see, but that was good.
keep it as PC as possible, not put my foot in my mouth and talk out of shop. But there are a lot of moving parts in terms of what we're trying to do as a conference. For
sure. All right, well, I appreciate you taking the time with me and stuff. One last thing.
Sure.
I want like a one phrase answer, not, you know what I mean?
Okay.
San Francisco Dons, the goal at the end of the year is to be blank.
An NCAA tournament team.
Okay, there we go. You said that's firm. We're going to make that happen, exactly.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you taking the time. Beautiful new facility we're filming in here. It's great out here. So
before you guys go,
sure.
Again, thank you. You could have went a lot of places, and you chose to come here.
We're here.
And hopefully, again, we can open some eyes to what kind of program we are, the product that we're putting out, and what a special place this is. I can't say enough about USF and you guys making the just taking it out of your time to come out and do what you're doing.
No, and that's the goal, honestly, because like I like to be authentic, transparent about everything, and I think I've always loved every level of the sport, but definitely college basketball because it's so unique with mid-major and the amount of levels it's at. So getting people to appreciate the different levels, especially on the West Coast and all over, and I think is important for the game, and it's important for everything. And I don't think people do that out there anyway. So I'll take that. I'll use it as my advantage to do that. So, but yeah, it's great. I appreciate you having us. It's awesome out here. So
before we cut, I have to, because I know we got dual things going on here. We got the basketball landscape, we got the food landscape.
Eric's behind the camera.
The camera. So I have to, as outsiders coming into our city, what are a couple places? Do you have any food spots on your agenda that you're gonna hit while you're here?
I gotta let Eric answer. Here, come here, swap. Get in there, big boy. What's up, Coach?
Because myself and our staff, we consider ourselves foodies.
Yeah, well, you know what? I can run through a list I have. I got a bunch of recommendations.
I want to hear it.
And then I take the recommendations. I do a quick vetting process of my own, and I narrow it down to a shorter list. We just went to, where is it? I just lost it. Senor Sisig.
Okay, so you did the Filipino. What was your
phenomenal?
We had it's crazy.
That was great, and we had a crunch wrap.
Okay.
Delicious.
I'm with you on
We tried going to Hog Island Oyster.
Great spot.
Line was too long.
You have to hit that.
If we waited on that line, we wouldn't be here.
Okay.
So.
I appreciate you making the choice.
We might go back after though.
Yep.
I've heard a lot about House of Prime Rib. I don't know if we'll be able to get in.
So I would give you a tip on House of Prime Rib. I take the staff there. This is our staff dinner. We are going there on October 7th, 22 of us as a staff. One of my favorite spots in the city. Go early, sit at the bar, and you can eat at the bar, put your name on the list, but definitely try to get in there if you're in the city. That's a must hit.
I'll let you read some of these. I got some bakeries,
okay,
some burrito spots.
Okay. Arsacalt is literally, you could walk there from here.
Okay.
So, aside from being in France, probably the best croissants that you'll.
Even though this is my world, croissants are his bread and butter. No pun intended.
If you don't go early, they sell out. But there'll be a line down the street, but it moves quickly.
Okay.
Definitely got to hit that for sure.
Deli Board was recommended a lot for sandwiches.
Deli Board, good spot.
La Taqueria.
For burrito, for sure, in the Mission.
Tony's Pizza.
Tony's Pizza. I'm an
East
Coast.
But it's like a San Fran staple, right?
Good pizza spot.
Mr. Giu's.
Mr.
Chinatown?
Giu's, yes, for sure. There's so many good. Our just the Asian cuisine here in the city is top tier. I would give you Original Joe's, Original Joe's.
Original Joe's on the list.
They're big donors of the program and alums of the program.
Say less.
So it's a great vibe, great spot. They're Little Original Joe's in the marina. is a big time spot. Good scenery and good vibes in there.
So we're going to be donors basically by going there.
For sure.
We're fueling the program. Yeah,
I like it.
And as you know, we're going to Oracle tomorrow, so I've heard the food is great there. Garlic
amazing.
fries. That's what everyone says. Crab sandwich, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Crab sandwich?
Yep.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oracle Park is loaded.
This is a amazing food city, so
Yeah.
to be able to come out here and kill two birds with one stone is pretty cool.
One more recommendation for us that was not on the list.
Are you coffee? I think we have some of the best coffee spots.
That's what we don't have on the list.
Okay, so close by here, our kind of go-to spot, 50/50, is a really good coffee spot. Right by here, there's a place called the Coffee Movement, which is close by here.
I'm writing them down.
Amazing. Coffee Movement is definitely probably a spot that you probably want to check out. But the list is endless in terms of.
I feel like we can't go wrong.
You really could eat somewhere different every night of the year and be a happy guy.
Love it.
Yeah.
For anyone who's listening on Spotify and not watching, this is my brother Eric.
Yeah. This
Hello.
is big time. We got
Greetings, Spotify.
The brother tandem in this space. We're gonna turn it into something special. Hopefully.
I love
We got
it.
The
Starts
food
here.
and basketball, great combination.
Hell yeah.
I'll let you do the outro. Go ahead.
What's the outro?
Just thank you for coming.
Oh, thanks, Coach, for having us.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure. Looking forward to a huge season for the Dons. Undefeated at home. Tournament team, national champions. Who says no?
There we go.
There you go.
There's
From
an
your lips
outro.
to God's ears. So we're good.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's your outro.
Thank you.
That was head coach Chris Gerlufsen out in San Francisco. And if you stay till the end, you got a little taste of the other Hammer brother, the third one. You know Ryan, me, you know Adam. And I think most people know Eric anyway. The best food content creator there is on planet Earth, on God's green earth, especially when it comes to Caesar Wraps and North Jersey food and stadium reviews. We were traveling together and it was improvised, impromptu. They were talking about food, as you saw. So I was like, you know what? Just you got it. You take care of it. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. Again, big things that Chris Gerlufsen and the San Francisco Dons are up to right now. If you're still here, especially at the end, I appreciate y'all for watching as always. We are going to get into conference previews, technically starting next week with mid-majors first. It'll be a lot of the mid-majors together, looking at the best ones going into the season across the entire country with a nice special guest. But we will get into the major conferences like the SEC, Big 12, Mountain West, etc. afterwards, and each of them will have their own full episode with a full preview. So stay tuned for that coming up next week as the season gets closer because it's fall, y'all. It's September. But again, appreciate y'all for watching. Have a great, great week.